On a bright sunny day, the villagers gather in the square. It's time for the annual lottery. In the heart of a quaint, seemingly ordinary village, the day unfolded like any other. The sun shone brightly, casting long shadows that danced along the cobblestone streets. The air was filled with the usual chatter of the townsfolk, punctuated by the laughter of children playing in the distance. But today wasn't just an ordinary day. Today was the day of the annual lottery. The villagers, each with faces etched with anticipation, began to assemble in the square. Men and women, young and old, all were there. The baker, the blacksmith, the schoolteacher, the children, every soul in the village was present. Their daily routines were set aside, the bread left unbaked, the anvils cold, the schoolhouse empty, for the lottery took precedence over all. The lottery was not a new event. It was a tradition, steeped in the history of the village, passed down from generation to generation. The origins of the lottery were shrouded in mystery, the reasons for its existence long forgotten, its purpose not questioned. Yet there was an undercurrent, a sense of unease that hinted at something darker beneath the surface. The smiles were a little too forced, the laughter a little too loud, the anticipation a little too palpable. The square, usually a place of community and camaraderie, was transformed into an amphitheater of suspense. The villagers, usually so familiar, now seemed to hold secrets in their eyes. The lottery box, usually an inconspicuous object, became the center of attention, its blackened wood looking ominously out of place in the cheerful sunlight. As the hour approached, the square fell silent. The laughter faded, the chatter ceased. All eyes were fixed on the lottery box, waiting, watching. The ordinary day had given way to the extraordinary event, the anticipation reaching a fever pitch. The lottery is a tradition, a ritual that everyone participates in, no questions asked. The lottery commences, and the villagers draw their slips of paper, each hoping not to draw the black spot. The lottery, a tradition as old as the town itself, has a process as familiar to the villagers as the changing of the seasons. The black box, weathered and worn, holds the fate of each villager within its dark depths. A piece of paper for each villager, one marked with a sinister black spot. The villagers approach the box one by one, each family taking their turn. The tension mounts as each slip is drawn, the crowd holding their collective breath with every reveal. Among the crowd, a woman named Tessie Hutchinson arrives late, flustered and out of breath. She's greeted with gentle teasing, a light moment in the otherwise heavy atmosphere. But as she draws her slip of paper, her laughter fades, replaced by a quiet unease. Her eyes dart around the crowd, the reality of the lottery settling in. The Hutchinsons, a family as ordinary as any other in the town, take their turn. Bill Hutchinson, the head of the family, steps forward. His hand, steady and sure, delves into the black box. He withdraws it, a single slip of paper clutched within his grasp. The crowd watches, their eyes fixated on the small, insignificant piece of paper that holds so much weight. As Bill unfolds the slip, the crowd leans in, their breath hitching in their throats. The silence is deafening, the only sound the rustling of the paper as it's revealed. And there it is, the black spot. A gasp ripples through the crowd, the reality of the situation sinking in. Tessie's face drains of color, her eyes wide with fear. The villagers murmur among themselves, their relief evident but tinged with a touch of guilt. They've escaped the fate of the lottery for another year, but at what cost? The Hutchinsons draw the dreaded black spot. Now, the real lottery begins. The Hutchinson family steps forward, each member must now draw again. Our tale now takes a turn towards the chilling as the final draw begins. The air is tense, heavy with anticipation. The villagers watch with bated breath, their eyes fixed on the unsuspecting family. The Hutchinsons, each in turn, reach into the black box, their hands trembling ever so slightly. The fate of their lives now rests on a slip of paper, a single black spot. Bill Hutchinson, the head of the family, is the first to draw. He unfolds his slip, a blank one. A collective sigh of relief echoes through the crowd, a fleeting moment of respite. But the ordeal is far from over. The next to draw is Bill Jr., their eldest. He too draws a blank. The villagers watch, their faces a mixture of relief and dread. Relief for the spared, dread for those yet to draw. One by one, the family members continue to draw, each blank slip amplifying the tension, each untouched by the black spot. Yet, With each passing moment, the reality of the situation becomes clearer. The odds are dwindling, the black spot is yet to be drawn, the impending doom looms over the crowd, and the air grows even heavier. Finally, it's Tessie Hutchinson's turn. The crowd goes silent as she reaches into the box. The world seems to hold its breath. She draws her slip, her hand shaking as she unfolds the paper. And there it is, the black spot. A gasp ripples through the crowd, a wave of horror washing over them. Tessie's face pales, her eyes reflecting a desperate terror. The villagers, once her friends and neighbors, now turn on her, their faces hard and cold. Tessie draws the black spot. The villagers move in, stones in hand. The horror of the lottery is revealed, the true nature of this seemingly innocuous tradition laid bare. The final draw has been made, and Tessie Hutchinson has lost more than just a game. The villagers descend upon Tessie, stones in hand. The lottery has reached its grim conclusion. In a horrifying spectacle of mindless conformity, the villagers, who just moments ago were friends and neighbors, become executioners. They wield their stones not with anger or passion, but with a chilling, detached efficiency. Each stone is an instrument of tradition, a token of a ritual they've never thought to question. Tessie Hutchinson, who had been a part of their community, now stands apart. Her protests fall on deaf ears as the first stone is thrown. It's a cruel irony that the same hands that once helped her build her home are now set to destroy her. This is the lottery's final act, a grim dance of death choreographed by the unyielding dictates of a tradition that no one dares to challenge. As the stones begin to rain down, Tessie's pleas become more desperate, her shrieks piercing the air. But her cries do not inspire mercy. Instead, they seem to embolden the villagers, steeling them in their grim task. The lottery has no room for mercy, for compassion. It demands obedience, and in return it promises the illusion of safety, of order. The villagers, caught up in the throes of this macabre ritual, have surrendered their individuality, their humanity. They have become cogs in a machine that grinds forward, propelled by the momentum of tradition, blind to the horror it leaves in its wake. And then, as suddenly as it began, it's over. The last stone falls and Tessie Hutchinson is no more. The villagers, their duty done, retreat from the spectacle. They return to their roles as farmers, as mothers and fathers, as friends and neighbors. They will wash the blood from their hands, clear the stones from the square, and pretend that nothing has changed. But something has changed. A life has been taken, a community has been fractured, and a tradition has been upheld. It's a chilling reminder of the dangers of unexamined traditions, of the monstrous acts that can be committed in their name. As the stones fall, the villagers return to their ordinary lives, waiting for the next lottery. In the aftermath of the lottery, life in the village resumes as if nothing happened. The sun continues to shine, children resume their play, and the adults return to their daily tasks. The echoes of the chilling event fade away, drowned by the commonplace sounds of life. The villagers, having fulfilled their grim obligation, now wear faces of relief, their smiles a stark contrast to the terror they had just inflicted. This unsettling acceptance of the lottery showcases the villagers' complacency and their surrender to tradition. It's as if the horror of the event is trivialized, buried beneath the weight of familiarity and routine. What's shocking is not just the event itself, but the villagers' ability to move on so swiftly, to allow life to return to normalcy with such ease. This speaks volumes about their desensitization towards violence and the power of mob mentality. The villagers, in their collective participation, have managed to distance themselves from individual responsibility. It's not a single person committing an act of violence. It's the collective, the community. This dispersal of guilt allows them to accept the horror of the lottery as a necessary part of their lives, an event as regular and expected as the changing of seasons. The story of the lottery is not just a tale of a horrific event, but a mirror held up to society, reflecting the dangers of blind adherence to tradition and the dehumanizing effects of mob mentality. It illustrates how easily the extraordinary can become ordinary, how swiftly the unthinkable can become accepted when it's masked by the veil of tradition. The villagers' reactions after the lottery are a testament to the randomness of violence and the ease with which it can be normalized. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly we can become desensitized to horror and how easily we can accept it, as long as it's wrapped in the comforting cloak of tradition. And so the cycle continues, the horror of the lottery buried beneath layers of tradition and acceptance.